All my life I wanted a Cocker Spaniel. I never even contemplated a Red Heeler Yellow Lab mix. Then in 2007 I rescued a dog, that exact dog, Sundance. But the next year when I rehomed a 5-year-old black cocker, I realized I now not only had the dog I always wanted, but Sundance was a dog I didn't even know I needed. He got me hiking, and 15 years later I never regretted for a second bringing Sundance home. Lady had terrible seizures, and it was a lot of work and worry to take care of. And seizures were scary for the grandkids, and for me. We loved her just the same, but I often felt Sundance was my reward for taking care of Lady. Her medication made Lady somewhat aloof, and eventually a lifetime of seizure medication got the best of her internal organs, and she left us earlier than we had hoped. We rehomed a Cocker Spaniel out of Idaho, and she and Sundance got along marvelously, starting day 2. On the ride home from Idaho, Snuffi wouldn't stay in the back of the SUV with Sundance, but climbed over the back seat and rode in the grandkids' child seat. The two quickly became ultimate hiking buddies. Like Sundance, Snuffi loved the mountains and those critters. Her powerful nose often found her head down, tracking a scent until she realized she didn't know where she was. We put a bell on her and used Sundance's sensitive hearing and herding instincts to find her and bring her back. We told Sundance to get Snuffi, and most of the time he did just that. Still, about 3 or 4 times each year her nose got her lost for an hour or more. She took off after 2 bull moose from this basin once, and I told Sundance to get Snuffi. About 3 hours later, the 2 were found, still together. She often swam mostly to greet the ducklings. She left us in 2018 at the age of 14 years. Sundance took Snuffi's death very hard, but he bonded with Sherbet, our Cocker Spaniel puppy, instantly. He was also so protective of her, and she seemed to look up to him, especially up in the mountains. Sherbet didn't stray off the trail driven by her nose like her predecessor, but Sundance, without waiting for my get Sherbet command, would take it upon himself to herd her back if he thought she was too far in front of us on the trail. Like a good brother, he taught her the ropes, including how to swim and fetch sticks thrown into the lake. Lesson over. Now it's time for a race to the stick. Sundance, the gentleman, gives Sherbet a head start. She gets to the stick first and has it firmly in her teeth. But wait, Sundance chomps on it as well. Oh, how nice. They're sharing the victory. But wait, Sundance completes the steal. Oh well, here's a prize for Sherbet. These days, everyone gets a trophy, you know. Excuse the length of this scene, but the footage of Snuffi and Sundance, who just chased a chipmunk into a hollow log, is my all-time favorite. They're both determined to get that chipmunk in there. Sundance even seems to try to see through the log to find that little critter, but he's most likely just hearing something with his sensitive ears, or he smells something with his dog nose. I'll just let you enjoy the rest of this scene. Back from a potty break. Haven't you got him out yet, Sundance? A fair amount of our time hiking was spent treeing squirrels. Heck, Snuffi even thought she could climb a tree. they're both gone now, so in the way this scene is lit, the light, it seems it could be Sundance and Snuffi chasing squirrels in heaven. Don't you think? Sherbet still hasn't completely figured out where the squirrel goes after they chase it. It runs behind the tree and then it just disappears. She finally saw one go up the tree but still hasn't connected the dots that that's where all of them are going. And like Snuffy, she thinks that she should be able to climb trees too. Over the almost 15 years we've been hiking, besides squirrels, we've seen a lot of moose, deer, elk, and some other animals. While the size of the moose makes them dangerous, especially the bull moose, it was always exhilarating to see such magnificent animals. Getting the dogs back on leash was always the first thing done with each encounter. Snuffy wasn't afraid to try to chase them, and as mentioned, once did chase 2 bull moose together in Alexander Basin when I was too slow to leash her up. And here's a bonus, 2 other moose together. Sundance was well disciplined and just looked, but Snuffy got lost a few times, chasing a deer over the ridge. She was fearless. Can you see the elk through the brush? While hiking last summer, Sherbet and Sundance suddenly veered off the trail at a pretty good clip. Both had the scent of something. About 40 yards from them, a bear's head emerges over the ridge you see here. I started yelling for the dogs to come back. They did. My yelling scared the bear away, and by the time the dogs were leashed and safe and I got my phone out, he was quite a distance away, heading for the trees. After 15 years, our first bear. We often saw birds of prey hovering overhead. I know a hawk would have a tough time with my 25-pound girl, but whenever I saw these guys, I stayed close to my cocker. Still, you think it's a coincidence that this guy who later showed up on my grandkids' tugboat sandbox didn't follow my cocker spaniel home? Of course, Sundance loved to fetch tennis balls. It's hard to see here, but I always threw the ball real high, so Sundance could not just retrieve it, but actually catch it on the first bounce. He was quite athletic. And this is a little twist on the plain fetch where Sundance launches off a boulder to fetch the ball I throw. He returns to the top of the boulder and bounces the ball back into my hand. Pretty cool, huh? That was our routine every time we visited Parley's Nature Park. Sherbet tried to fetch the ball, but Sundance was always too fast. I'm still trying to teach her to bring the ball back. Sundance loved to be chased, and his goal was always to get the other dogs to chase him. Here he is with friends he made at Dog Lake. Before we started hiking, we built an agility course in our backyard since healers are quite hyperactive. The pipeline trail in Millcreek still has rusty portions of the iron pipeline. To Sundance with agility tunnels at home, everything is a tunnel. Snuffy too. And here he tries to teach Sherbet to tunnel. At first she balks. He tries a different approach. Voila, she goes through. Sundance may have had a little help with the remote, but this is a true depiction of what he did when the home movie videos of the grandkids were on the screen. He was always gentle and protective of the grandkids. Here he is with my 5-month-old granddaughter. And the rest of the grandkids. And this was the boy seen earlier in diapers, now just chillin' with his buds. Sometimes the grandkids like to hike with us up to Dog Lake. Those were great times for Sundance and myself. And here my tough grandson in the winter, just barely past the Grandeur Peak trailhead in Millcreek Canyon. This is just what it looks like. This guy didn't like the dog sleeping on his bed, but they'd sneak on when he was asleep anyway. I have dozens more pieces of footage I could include of Sundance's final summer up in the mountains, running like you see here. I was so amazed that at 15 years old he was still going strong. Not bad for 15 years old. And here I am with my best friend in Millcreek on the Bowman Fork Trail to Baker Spring and Pass, the city lookout on the Pipeline Trail, at Mount Air Peak, and Gobbler's Knob, which is about 10,400 feet high. Up here, just shy of 9,000 feet, lays Dog Lake in Millcreek Canyon, Sundance's most favorite place on earth. Now, for Sundance, every day can be a day at Dog Lake. Go fetch. Hey, he's really gone. What do we do now?